Thank you so much for joining me. It is really exciting to talk to you a bit today about meltdowns in adults with Asperger's. I've recently self-diagnosed with Asperger's, and since accepting that diagnosis and working my way through what it means, I've had an absolute wonderful week, a week of healing, and my mental health is just going up. And I'm feeling stronger, I'm feeling better. Everything is starting to work again. I guess the best way to really get talking about meltdowns is to share my experiences. Don't Aspies love to share their experiences? As a child, I was physically beaten by my parents and by the kids at school. And if you know anything about Aspies, that is an absolute no-no, because it manifests later in their lives as meltdowns. And my meltdowns were so extreme and wild that as a 20-year-old man at work, I almost lost my job several times, because even though I was way, way in the back working with very noisy machinery, my meltdowns were so loud and wild and violent and crazy that people long ways away, through many rooms away, could hear this lunatic raving like a it was ugly. And it almost cost me my job. At the age of 21, something really wild happened in my living room. I knelt down, I asked Jesus to be my Lord. In my living room, alone, no one around, it was just between me and God. And something wild happened. I felt a huge weight lifted off me and a lot of joy, a river of joy pouring into me. And at that point, those meltdowns were scaled back to almost nothing. And to this day, it's been a long time, over 2 decades since then. I'm still not manifesting anything near those explosive meltdowns, but lately I have been having them more frequently. Not as strong, but more frequently, and it really has been bothering me, really upsetting me, like what is wrong with me? And that's what led me to diagnosing with Asperger's. And let me explain how the Asperger day works for people like myself who are prone to meltdowns. You start off in the morning with whatever, your batteries are charged to a certain degree, and you have that much strength or energy to get through your day. And I'm learning that those first couple of hours in the day are vital. You're a little bit fragile at that point. It's easy to take it out of you at that point. You need to really baby yourself if you can, really get into the day very gradually and slowly. I say that even though I have to get up at 3 in the morning to go to work, and it's not the easiest thing. But I'm learning that if you take care of yourself early on in the day and pamper yourself a bit, you just have more as you get towards the end of the day. I'm finding at the end of the day, and 12 hours into my day, my energy is very, very low, and a meltdown isn't that far away. Now, what happens is a neurotypical, if you think of the inner person or the soul as being like a strainer or a colander, the water, the cares, the worries, the frustration, the stress flows right through them. Where an Aspie is a lot more like a bowl, and all of that stuff just builds and builds. And I have verbal tics. I thought at first it was a stim, but it really is a tic because it just happens without me pre-planning it. Where I'll say these really bizarre, stupid things, and what it means, I'm learning, is that the bowl is getting full, and that's like a pressure relief valve trying to let go of some of that pressure. Because unlike a neurotypical, it doesn't just drain out of me, it's sitting there. So the tics start, and that's my warning sign that I need to do something to bring the stress level down, and that is through stimming. I'm definitely going to do my next video on stimming. It's vital. It's absolutely crucial, and learning to stim has turned my whole meltdown situation around. So I would start my day. Let's say I have 80% power. My batteries are charged to the 80% mark. If I go into work and my schedule is the same as always, it stays at 80%. If I get to my truck with no one really aggravating or doing anything around me, if I can get quietly to my truck with no interaction with anyone, I'm at 80%. If my truck isn't, messed up or parked or not fueled or whatever, I'm still at 80%. Everything's good, but I'll tell you, if a pig had been using my truck during the night and made a big mess in there, if my schedule was changed, if I was asked to do more in my schedule than I reasonably had time to do it, all of those things would drop my power down to 60, 50, 40. Especially a schedule change depletes me almost to zero. When that strength runs out, you're very, very susceptible to meltdowns. It happens so easily. It just takes one little thing, a car coming towards me with its high beams on the... I'm very sensitive to light. It's very painful. A car's high beams, I have to shield my eyes from. And it just takes a couple, and I'm having meltdowns every time someone does it. Another car drives by, and I'm just starting to say really cruel, angry, hostile stuff. And man, I believe in God, right? Like, it's not something I'm proud of. I carry a lot of guilt because of these meltdowns. And over the past week, I've learned, there's a verbal tick. There's an indicator that the stress level is starting to and it doesn't necessarily have to be frustration. That stress level can increase with positive feelings too. It's all the same. In us, we're a bowl, or more like a balloon than a neurotypical who's like a strainer. The stuff just goes right through them. Yeah, I think more like a balloon. We just keep expanding with it. And there's a pressure relief, which is a meltdown, or a verbal tick is kind of like a warning sign that the meltdown is coming. And the meltdown is where, lots of pressure gets just let out of the balloon really fast and ugly. And that's what we want to avoid. A meltdown leaves you feeling defeated. I don't know about you personally, but I start to scream and say really angry, hostile, cruel things. And it'll last from anywhere from 10 seconds. For me personally, I have several in a day, or had up until last week. And it would last anywhere from 10 seconds to about a minute of just really angry, screechy nastiness. And then after that, I would stew for a while. Just brood and be angry for about 10 minutes. And if nothing else happened, I would start to slowly calm down, and within half an hour I could find myself whistling or whatever, getting back to a normal. But at that point, I'm very susceptible. I can have another meltdown, just the slightest trigger. There's zero energy in me. Every little thing will set me off now. And I think God maybe is allowing me to experience this more so that I will be smart about it, look at it for what it is, diagnose it properly, and learn to work with it. So this week, when I've heard the verbal tick, and there's 3 or 4 really strange sayings I had that just spew out, and it's not in a normal conversational voice. It's got to be, a very bizarre way of speaking. No, I'm not going to do it in front of you. When I hear that, I know that the pressure is building. So I start to do different stims to bring the pressure back down, and it works. It works fantastic. The pressure comes right back down. And I've gone the whole week, probably 30 to 40 really nasty things have happened to me. Like before I would think I'm a freak, like this is all in my head. But this week, because of what I've been doing, stimming and working my way through these things that upset me, I'm really realizing that these are actual events. They are triggering, and I'm allowing it to pile up until it's that one stupid little event that brings out a meltdown that's way over the top and beyond what the situation deserves. So you can see how this, being an Aspie and not realizing what a meltdown is, you're going to create a lot of self-loathing, confusion. What is wrong with me? Why would I get so freaky about something so stupid, not realizing that it was everything before that point that's happening here right now. This meltdown is not about this, it's about all of the things that happened up until this point. But like I said, learning to read yourself and know your signs. Your pressure level is creeping up. You need to stim, you need to bring it back down, you need to get yourself in control. I've been doing that all week. I have not had one single meltdown. For a man who was beaten as a child, who is prone to meltdowns, who has many every day, to go a week without a meltdown is absolutely insane. It's crazy. But this is only the first week of my experience, and I'm typical Aspie. I love to learn. I love to, as Hans Asperger, the man who defined the syndrome, as he said, we're like little professors. We just really like to research and study and learn, and why not apply it to what's going on inside of us and make a practical, useful tool of that experience. So my next video is going to be on stimming. I've learned just as much about stimming this week, and it's really exciting, and I can't wait to share it. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.